What's up, everybody? You're live with the Project. Another great episode of Smack Talk TV. We'll be joined by my very esteemed, very dedicated, very prepared, very, just gracious guest host in the minute, BX Connect. You're going to tell us about all the what's causing all this in the UFC world, the fallout of UFC 286, Usman versus Edwards 3, very highly anticipated match for the purists, John Jones for the hardcore fans. We covered that a few weeks back. You can find that on YouTube at TJ the Prodigy. That's at TJ the Prodigy, TJDA, the word Prodigy, all lowercase letters. Man, it's a good time, man. It's been a few days since we've been on, and since then, I'm officially back on Twitch. Took a little bit of pulling teeth and a bit of a misunderstanding, which I got to give them credit. They did apologize for it, and I made sure my status stayed the same. They got the strikes and all that stuff. It was a misunderstanding about what they thought was alleged nudity, but we got that taken care of. So shout out to Twitch for owning up to their problems. That's all I ask you to do is own up to your mistakes, and we don't have no problem. But if you try to play me, it's gonna be a whole nother conversation. With that said, JoJo gonna be coming on here talking about the UFC. I'm just gonna talk about sports entertainment and wrestling right now. Entertainment, if there's anything to discuss. Before we do that, man, shout out to Poggers. He had a new company, health aid and supplemental company. You can find out everything they got at drinkpoggers.com. Drink Poggers. And if you use my code Prodigy Poggers, I made it as easy as possible alliteration. You get 10% off. That's the code Prodigy Poggers. Poggers spelled Poggers. If you use that and my code, you get 10% off. Get you some sleep aid. Get you some recovery. Everybody should be in the gym anyway because you should be getting healthy. Balance is about health. You have to work out. Life is stressful. You got a lot of things going on in the day. You have to find balance. You have to work out to get fresh air. So it gets you sleep. So go over there, get you some sleep aid or get you some supplement. It blends well with the water. Read the instructions. Obviously, I'm more of a liquid person myself as far as recovery type stuff. I like liquids better. But if you want them to get liquids, which they currently don't have, tell Poggers to go get some liquids. Hit them up on Twitter. You can find their Twitters at Poggers, Poggers, and let them know. People can't change if you don't get them suggestions. So that's what you do. You use that code Prodigy Poggers, get yourself 10% off. And once you put that code in, hit me up on Twitter or TJ the Prodigy on YouTube. That's TJDA, the word Prodigy on YouTube. Or it's Twitter at it's TJ Time 1991 on Twitter. Inbox me, let me know, shout you out, hit you up with some connections. I have a lot of connections that you'll know about. Don't let my Twitter followers fool you. I got a lot of followers on Twitch. And not only that, with the smaller amount of followers I got on Twitter, I got some influencers, big people. One of the people that follow me, Sergeant Slaughter. Another one is Bill Apter from After Mags Magazine. I got some people that follow me that you don't think they do, but they do. With that said, very rough time in wrestling right now. But before we get into that, if anybody else want to sponsor me, Monster. I drink Monsters all the time before work. Sorry, not Monsters, but Red Bulls, but Monster too. I like Monster sometimes. So hit me up. Let me know what y'all want to do. We'd like the top honest combat sports podcast. Me and JoJo online. Mike Copenhaver, yes, War Machine's brother. He works with us sometimes. So we the real deal, man. Don't let all this cancel culture and all this stuff fool you. We know our stuff. We've been around a long time in the wrestling entertainment business. So yeah, with that said, man, welcome to the show, man. Officially, I haven't played this in a while, but welcome to the show, man. Welcome to the Shizzo once it actually plays. Here we go. Yes, indeed, man. I hope y'all can hear this. It's playing the opening song. Welcome to the show. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Welcome to the show. And I wish we had some positive things to talk about with WWE, but they're in rough shape right now, man. They keep recycling the same type of matches. It's nice to have somebody like Logan Paul on there, who's a legitimate star, who gets a lot of hate from the people that don't understand it, but he gets a lot of love from the hustlers, the grinders, the YouTubers, the people that was in the mud building their YouTube channel probably the last 10 years. They will understand what Logan Paul went through to get there. This man got 26 million, yes, with an M, 26 million subscribers on YouTube. If that ain't nothing to be happy about, I don't know what is. A lot of this young generation don't understand the grind. They don't understand what it takes to really get something going with a YouTube channel. And Logan Paul gets it. He gets out to be a mainstream star. Unfortunately, the current regime of WWE people don't really get what it takes to put stock behind a legitimate star. They don't understand what it takes to really get back to the mainstream because WWE numbers are suffering. Their metrics are down pretty much in every way you can imagine. And it's simply their fault because they refuse to adapt with the times. They refuse to improve their product. I really don't understand what they're waiting on. It seems like they're out to self-destruct. They're out to just be as niche as possible, which is the death knell for anybody that truly understand business. You want to always be moving up as opposed to backwards. Tony, I'm trying to tag some people up, y'all. I'm sorry. Let them know what we doing here. We doing things over here. My homie Brian. What's up, Brian? Shout out to Brian. I got a lot of fans coast to coast, California, New York, Texas, England, Australia, Japan. I got fans everywhere, man. Don't get it twisted, y'all, with the wrestling stuff. Don't think that we don't got people watching us because we definitely do. Shout out to my big homie Victor. He's been holding it down for a nice little while with me now. Not since day one, but long time he's been holding it down with me. And JoJo will be here in a second. Let me check now. He's not in the lobby yet, but he'll be here shortly. Yeah, WWE's in rough shape right now, man. The WrestleMania card's not looking great. They got a lot of matches, but only about 2 of them are really going to be a draw. John Cena going against Austin Theory for the United States Championship. John Cena is the biggest name in recent WWE history over the last 15 to 20 years. He's going to always get something on there. Bobby Lashley was set to be on the card, but Bray Wyatt is having a stinker right now. I don't know what he has going on. They said it was physical health related. Some rumors are saying that it was COVID-19. Who knows what it is? I know this. I wasn't impressed by anything Bray Wyatt was doing prior to him leaving. I think he's a little overconfident in some of his stuff. I think that he needs to filter like Vince McMahon. Some people might not necessarily agree with that, but a lot of his best stuff. Yes, Vince McMahon have bad cartoony ideas at times. However, Vince McMahon has been right a lot more times than he's been wrong. So usually you need a filter like that. He's a multi-generational promoter. So Vince McMahon usually knows what a larger audience wants. And if it wasn't for his daughter, Vince loves his daughter. That's really clear. He even promoted her at like late 20s, early 30s to be the head of the creative department, despite her not having any credentials other than the fact that she's Vince McMahon's daughter. That was her only credentials. And we see the long-term detrimental effects that she's put into rotation. She stepped down since her father came back in January, which I'm pretty sure that was pretty strategic. It was probably set up between Linda McMahon and Vince McMahon, especially considering Linda McMahon and Vince allegedly haven't been together, haven't been in the same bed with over 10 years. And it's not about gossip because I'm not interested in guys. It's about factual reporting. And of course, a lot of these things didn't come to light too much recently, but they've been having marital issues for a while. They just kept them under wraps, which any smart couple would, because it's not the world's business what they got going on. It's their business. And then they have a lot of masters to answer to. I almost call it Hillary Clinton. She reminds me of her. Linda McMahon has political ties and coalitions to adhere to. Even when she was asked about Vince and WWE, she said she's not interested in discussing that. She was only interested in discussing whatever that charity she was working on at the time. Excuse me, I just took a sip of Gatorade. She wasn't even interested in mentioning what was going on with WWE at the time. She played her cards very smart, and she didn't talk about it, but you could tell it has to be some hurt there after being married all that time, having kids by this very successful man. Who knows, though? Her goal the whole time could have been to get involved with politics. Her goal could have been, yeah, I'm going to use this powerful man, because it's not like I'm not going to put that above any woman that, oh, she's so pressed she wouldn't do that. Please. All women, if they can, use a step. So some men do it, but all men or women are opportunists. It's possible for anybody to do that. So who knows? But it's a lot of issues with WWE that's trickled down. This feminism stuff, this crazy left-wing stuff. They created this monster that they might not be able to come back from. We are less than 2 weeks away from WrestleMania. It is less than 1 million people online that's talking about it. The highest numbers I've seen was 60,000 people. 55,000 people. It might be 100,000 people on certain things. BX Connect just joined us, and I'm going to bring him in just a second, but it's just not enough interest right now overall in WrestleMania. You know what I mean? People like John Cena at the very last minute saved what was going on with WrestleMania. The Miz hosting, Snoop Dogg being on the poster, these types of things. But for a California market, WrestleMania is not looking good. And before you came on, BX, I was talking about all the controversy with The Fiend. I'm not sure if you heard anything about it. It's rumors that he probably had COVID-19. They were trying to keep it under wraps. I'm hearing it's possibly mental stuff because he's not liking the creatives. What say you, man? Welcome as always, y'all. PX Connect in the house with us, man. What's up, man?
Yeah,
What's causing all this, son? We
yeah. What's
back at it.
happening? What's happening?
Always working like we never left. You know how me and him do it. We always, getting our elbows in the dirt. I'm back on Twitch, as I told y'all. We got that situation straightened out. So, yeah, son.
That's what's up.
You hear anything about this Wyatt possible COVID-19, possible mental health issues as he had 2 years ago when they burned him and turned him to the Ninja Turtle crisp? Did you hear anything about what's going on with why they had to step away from him? As of right now, Lashley doesn't have an opponent or a certainty for WrestleMania coming up in about a little bit over a week now. You heard anything about?
Um, yeah. What's happening, man? What's happening, people? From what I've heard, he had stepped away. I thought it was a creative issue or something like that, but then they said, yeah, he was ill. He was not well. His health was in question. Um, I don't know if it's a mental health issue, but I know, he's been troubling with some of that for quite a bit. But yeah, he's been out, and Lashley, yeah, they don't have a concrete idea of what they're gonna do with Lashley as far as WrestleMania goes, which kind of sucks, man, because Lashley's been on a pretty good run. He just came off of, his thing with Brock, and
Yeah.
it's like, bruh, that's one of your names there. Now you really don't have an option B. Like, yo, like, come on, man. Like, if we lose out on Bray, okay, we lose out on Bray. That's all right, but it's Lashley, damn it. Like, oh, boy. But we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I know.
It's
Also, I
really,
don't. Huh?
I was going to say, it's really weird, man. It's weird.
Yeah. I feel the worst for
Yeah.
Lashley because he deserved to have a spot on WrestleMania. I don't know if they're going to do that. You know what? If all else fails, this would be a good opportunity for night one for the Usos or night two. It don't matter. I would say maybe night one to lose those Raw titles to the Hurt Business. Get the Hurt Business back going. Um, Lashley, you know what? Honestly, at this point, then again, I don't know. You know what? I mean, they might. I would. This is a drastic 180, but I will probably draft Lashley to SmackDown because he haven't had a run to SmackDown in a very long time since his first run to WWE. I would draft him
Yeah.
to SmackDown, put him in that Fatal 4-Way with Gunther and Sheamus and them, and have him win that U.S. title. Now you got them over there, and then I will have, even though this kind of, yeah, you might have to split this though. I'll draft the whole Hurt Business to SmackDown, have the Usos against the Hurt Business night one. They lose the SmackDown titles, and I would trade Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to Raw. Put them on Raw and let them beat the Usos for the Raw titles. The Usos could take a break. They've done great. They could take a break for a while. Now you got the tag titles back split again. Two pretty good teams. Yeah, they had to get drafted, but that's the situation right now. Because I start to say add Lashley to the Theory and Cena match, but that's more of a grudge match. He'll be kind of out of place and he'll be overshined. So at this point, your best bet is just to put him in that SmackDown United States title match. Oh, I'm sorry, Intercontinental title match. That's the best thing you could do right now. Because the Bray thing is unfortunate, but stuff like this happens. This is why you have to have a plan B. I think
Yeah.
that's the best thing you do. What you say, JoJo? I think that's about the best they can do with him.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Cause but then they're gonna have Sammy and Owens versus the Usos.
Yeah,
They're gonna have that.
yeah,
What I see, boy, which that's gonna be kind of awkward though. You could throw him, yeah, you could throw him into Intercontinental title match, which would make sense. It would make sense. Just add him in there and work that. You could try to make a random storyline of some sort
yeah,
where he's coming back after Brock in the Brock and Almost match, something like that. Maybe you have one of those Vince type moments where it's just the big guys just doing big guy shit.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
or you set them up. Yeah, you wait till like the yes, the Zayn and them come. They do that. Uh, you have the Usos there. I don't know if they're gonna win both the titles or just one set of titles. That's the whole question there too. But in some way, shape, or form, have the reformation of the Hurt Business back in the business. Um, you have Lashley interfere in a match or something like that, formulated in some way, shape, or form. But they got to get something done to overshadow this silliness, the situation with Bray, man.
Yeah. And I would say give them off to about. I don't know if they're gonna keep with the pattern of Extreme Rules being in June. And I know we still jumping way ahead, but we trying to speculate and book ahead. Um, if they're going to keep having Extreme Rules in June as the trend that they started last year, get Wyatt. That gives him about 3 months off. He should be ready to come back by June. If he's not, let that man go on and do what he's going to do. This might be his last run in WWE, unfortunately. Because, I mean, how many chances can you present to management that I have mental health issues? That's not going to sit right with them after a while, even though, I mean, that's people's right. If they, I mean, everybody has different triggers and different levels of mental health. However, when you're in
Right.
a WWE company, this is what expected to be a top guy. You have to be willing to carry the load. Bray Wyatt's $1 million contract guy. I mean, he don't leave WWE with a whole lot of options. Maybe he need to go to Hollywood or kind of do his own thing. Maybe go into script writing or something. I don't know what's triggering him. I have my theories. I think some of it has to do with the fact that this new Fiend adaptation's kind of been a botch from the get go. All this Uncle Howdy stuff is just not quite connecting with a certain section of the crowd, very marginal section of the crowd. They're very forgiving to Bray Wyatt, but casuals aren't. And can you blame them? I mean, I feel like that pitch black match was kind of the final nail in the coffin for this new thing. It didn't help that whoever was playing the Uncle Howdy character that night, they totally missed that spot, and the cameras did not do much job hiding it. So things like that after a while get to a performer. When you tell, oh, you're just botching, and I'm pretty sure some of the heat got to him online, and that's probably what's going on with the mental health thing. Hey, I would say give him 3 months off. I mean, Extreme Rules fits perfectly around a character like him. Him and Alexa
Yeah.
Bliss, the Extreme Rules thing. Give him off to June. If he can't hack it by then, I mean, work something out. Maybe come back a little later, maybe SummerSlam. But I think Extreme Rules will be a perfect time to get him kind of back in the fold. But I mean, you got to put Lashley in something. You cannot have
Yeah.
Lashley a name the way he is, and he just finished a hot program with Lesnar last month. He has to be doing something. I mean, I mean, WWE, y'all already been kind of leaning back towards the Hurt Business reunion. Why not do that? So just go ahead and do that. I would say draft them to SmackDown. I mean, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, the fans gonna follow them wherever they go. So even if they go to Raw, they've been on Raw a couple times anyway. They've been on Raw the last few
Exactly.
weeks, so why not send them to Raw? It makes too much
Yeah.
sense. So do that. Hurt Business. I mean, you got something new to sink your teeth into. Everybody wins. I don't see how nobody loses in a situation like that.
Word.
Switching gears, man. Sasha Banks was asked about once again why she left WWE. She kept it to the chest. JoJo, I think that's pretty clear that it didn't end on good terms. Sasha Banks is known for being pretty outspoken. It's either that or she signed an NDA where she can't disclose much of what's going on. I would imagine she's going to eventually talk about it. I would say maybe in the next 6 months. Because WWE usually make you sign what, like 3 months or some shit like that. Clearly, they're not stopping her from working in Japan. She's over there, but she probably signed an NDA. I would imagine at some point she's going to talk about all this stuff. But she was actually in an interview lately, and she didn't say nothing about it. She's very vague, which clearly it's something going on beyond the eye. I think a lot of it has to come down to creative, and maybe she got caught up in the mix with all this Vince McMahon and women, him not treating women right and all that type of stuff. And then Naomi, unfortunately, got caught in the crossfire. I've since heard that she might be recovering from an injury. Not sure how true that is. We just got to wait for all the information to come out. But yeah, man, did you see that thing when Sasha didn't really want to talk to the media about why she left?
I read something about it. Yeah, she's kept things kind of to the chest.
Yeah,
I guess she's waiting for like when the opportunity comes, it comes.
yeah,
For her to speak on it, she'll speak on it.
yeah,
Because it's like it's one of those things where it's like it would be nice if I get an opportunity, if I come back, but there's some things that are going on there right now that I need to clear my head about. You know what I mean? Because while she's very cool with Triple H. Triple H helped her a lot.
yeah,
But it's just on her way. Just butting heads between Vince and Triple H, and ideas, creative, a
yeah,
lot of other stuff going on there. Then you had the scandal situation that might lead up to something. So it's like I think it just comes down to that, all that, plus how she feels her worth. So we'll see in time.
Yeah,
Right now she's just doing her thing.
yeah. She's
For
enjoying the
New Japan,
Japanese thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
and she's doing a lot of stuff there. A couple big names in Japan that are supposed to be lined up to face her. I know she has a thing with her contract because she was signed up for another match. I think when is it? Within the next couple months, but it's not a long contract. She hasn't signed nothing solid yet.
Right.
She had some dates, that's it, but not many dates.
Sure.
So it hasn't been nothing solid yet over there. So
Sure.
that's probably something as well as why she's not saying anything much yet.
Sure.
But we'll see. We'll see
That's
as
not a
time
bad
goes.
schedule to have. Yeah, as JoJo said, we'll see. I mean, that's sometimes that's how you got to handle things. You know, it's best to keep it close to the chest. You don't want to get heat in other companies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Long as she's happy, she can stay in Japan. You know what I mean? I don't have no issue. I like the days of a talent. I've never understood why WWE was so resistant to letting their talent go. The more exposure for your product, the better. Why would you not want more Japanese fans? I honestly don't understand what the problem with it is. But and I think it helps. It's healthy for the industry across the board to swap talent, and it gives kind of a big match feel. Can you imagine if some type of way Darby Allin was able to work with some of the guys in NXT, especially the ones with care or WWE in general? It don't have to just be
Yeah.
NXT. It's a lot of good people he can work with. It's a lot of people. Can you imagine MJF versus The Miz? Think about that. Can you imagine Miro versus Strowman or something like that? Or Miro versus
Well,
who else kind of got like a beast run right now? Maybe you want Sangha, something like that. One of those big dudes. I mean, it's a lot of
yeah.
you got a lot of options. Xavier Woods, when he's ready to come back, he could be Consequences Creed and go against going into the summer season. We mentioned this before. He can go against Rusev. You got the Russian versus. I mean, with all the stuff with Russia and Ukraine, it's relevant in the news. Why not? You know what I mean? It's just it's healthier for the business when you allow things come out. LAX versus good teams that open up where Conan. Which speaking of Conan, we're going to transition to this right now. Right now, he's been discussed to induct Rey Mysterio into the Hall of Fame. Who more deserving
Yeah.
than Conan? He brought the lucha style to the United States. I got my issues
Yep.
with Conan, but I never take away from what he's done for lucha wrestling. He's brought my favorite cruiserweight wrestler to the United States. His name is Rey Mysterio. And he's going into the Hall of Fame this year. Oh, well overdone. Way generous for the business. Done everything he's ever been asked to do. What a professional Rey Mysterio is. Not only that, he's the greatest cruiserweight ever. I'm talking about pure cruiserweight. As far as WWE, obviously it'll be a WWE champion, it'll be Eddie Guerrero. But I mean pure cruiserweight that just works the cruiserweight style. Rey Mysterio is the greatest cruiserweight ever to walk this planet. He's proven that by being a draw, selling hella merch, masks, T-shirts, all the charity he works for the hospitals and Make a Wish. He's just an A1 human being. Great, great guy. So yeah, I'm looking to see that. JoJo, who would have thought? Conan hasn't been in WWE in almost 30 years. Think about how crazy that sounds. He left WWE in the early '90s when he was when he had the jetpack thing, Cosmic Kid, or what was he doing again with the cartoon thing he had going on? He was like the
What was
robot
it?
or whatever.
Word.
Max Moon. Max Moon.
There
He
you
was the
go.
original Max Moon. So he had the braids coming out the thing. He was trying to go for the Mortal Kombat thing. He kind of looked like Cyrex and all those people from Mortal Kombat. He looked like Cyrex, but yeah, big ups to Conan. Like I said, we've had our squabbles in the past, but when it comes to doing business, I have no issues with anybody. Yeah, but I mean, come on, man. Rey Mysterio, Kabuki, allegedly Batista, allegedly Stacy Keibler. It's a pretty strong class so far. If not Stacy Keibler, I would imagine to be somebody like Mickie James.
Yeah.
It's not like they won't do business with her. She was in the Royal Rumble last year with the Impact title on. You know what I mean? And so that's what's going on there.
And they just added Andy Kaufman.
Oh, really? Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Andy
I thought
Kaufman.
he should have been in there. Another name well overdue. Andy Kaufman, one of the first people to work, one of the first celebrities to work a major storyline with a wrestler. With Jerry Lawler back in the 70s and the 80s. This man was wild, man. The first man to self-proclaim intergender champion of the world. This man was talented. Come on, son. This was Miz before Miz was Miz.
Oh my
You know what I mean?
God.
This man said he was the intergender champ. Any comedy wrestler, I would imagine R-Truth saw a little bit of the Andy Kaufman stuff because he's really good with comedy. This man said women need to be in the kitchen. He used to challenge women to try to body slam in the ring. What a damn guy Andy Kaufman was. R.I.P. to Andy Kaufman from the Bronx, I believe, from the BX. I think, yeah. Top Dog, what's up, man? Whose name is Top? Omar, what's up, Omar? I was trying to figure out whose name that is. What up, Omar? Omari, I'm sorry. So yeah, big ups to Andy Kaufman. I'm surprised it's just not happening. Andy Kaufman it passed a nice little while ago. And it's, especially it's as long as Lawler been with the company. But anyway, better now than never. I love that idea. It's starting to come together a little bit now. I think they need to use that some type of way to get heat with Miz. If not
Yeah.
that, right now Stone Cold Meltzer reported this in other sources, but I was looking at Meltzer. Right now, Austin hasn't been contacted by WWE to do anything because he was asked about that in an interview. I find that quite surprising considering the gate he drew last year at WrestleMania in Dallas, and of course it was in Dallas. So, but I mean, anytime Stone Cold's gonna show up at WrestleMania, it's gonna be a big number. But Dallas, come on, he's from Texas, so it's especially big there. I will be surprised if Austin will make some type of cameo. I think with Miz being off TV, I'm sorry, with Miz not being featured in a match, but he's right now being pegged as the host of WrestleMania, I think him and Austin should have some type of interaction with each other. I think that'll be a good way to utilize Austin. What you think about that, JoJo? Austin and Miz doing something. I think that'll be cool.
Austin and Miz.
Yeah, like just a talk show or something like that. Nothing physical.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. That wouldn't be bad. Let me think. Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. You know.
Yes, Omari. If you have a StreamYard account, you can get on the stream with us. Yeah, I don't mind. Actually, I was just waiting for somebody to ask. You know what I mean? And I already know who you are. So yeah, if you have a StreamYard account, let me know and I'll send you an invite. I'm sorry, Joe.
Nice. No, it's all right. I was gonna say, yeah, have Austin do something with the Miz. Austin has some capacity because yeah, he did pull up numbers for the last WrestleMania. I know he was being contacted for something with either Brock Lesnar. Who knows if they might let him do something with Bobby Lashley? I don't know, but yo, if Austin is able to, if he's willing to, if he's able to, then let him go ahead.
Yeah.
Let him go ahead and get that, man. It would be nice to see him. You know, he was doing this thing other than the Vince McMahon taking that stunner. I mean, he was all right, man. He was all right.
Austin Theory Super Mario stunner, yeah.
Oh yeah, the Super Mario stunner was hilarious.
Oh man, you got to get that kid credit for taking that stunner. Yeah, that's what we got going with that there. Also, Edge, Finn Balor, Hell in the Cell match. I think this was natural progression for this match. Okay, Omari, I'm gonna inbox you on Twitter. Check your Twitter, and I'll send you a thing. Austin, I'm sorry, not Austin. Edge, Finn Balor, kind of in a grudge feud. People got mixed reaction. Not people from my community, not too slow. I'm not gonna lie. The Judgment Day thing's not my favorite thing. Big ups to Edge for trying to make it work. I prefer Finn Balor a lot more than Seth Rollins for a lot of different reasons. I think this is the natural time to bring back the Demon. We haven't seen the Demon in a nice little while, probably almost 2 years or something like that. This will be the perfect time to bring the Demon back to say I had to go to hell to get in this Hell in a Cell match. I think this is going to be a great match. As far as bumps and spots, Edge going to show up and show out for this match. It's going to be a pretty damn good match. So I think this will be a good time to bring back that natural progression. We haven't seen a Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania in about 10 years. When Triple H, they had to last to the end of an era with Shawn Michaels and all of them. That was about 10 years ago. So it's been a nice while. And I'm one of those people that don't think that Hell in a Cells need to be at WrestleMania every year because you cheapen the value of it when you do that. So yeah, what say you, JoJo? I mean, you think this is the good direction to go in with this feud, or what you think?
Nah, I think it's a good direction, man. Cap it off with a Hell in a Cell match. I mean, ain't no better way to do it, right?
Yeah, I mean that's
get a big match. You know what I mean? Edge's idea was the Judgment Day. You're gonna end it off this way. You end it off this way. Hopefully, we do see Finn back in the character of the Demon. You know what I mean? Spice things up. It's been a long time, as you said. And I like that because he brings a little extra bit of himself when he gets into his costume. He gets into the makeup and goes out there and does his thing. So yeah, we know Edge is gonna always deliver. It's a good opportunity because we kind of been a little iffy with Balor, even though Balor's here. Put some spotlight on Balor too, man, because boy, Balor's been kind of like he's disappeared for quite a while, until since him joining the Judgment Day. But even then, it's been like he's been kind of on and off, on and off.
Yeah,
You
down
know,
to NXT,
down
back to the main roster. Yeah, he's been all over.
yeah, and then he's been in this group where we see a lot of Damian Priest talking, and then Rhea Ripley's been the show out pretty much underground. Dom's had his own storyline, so like let Finn get in here, man. Let Finn get something good going. So there you go.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that. This for people wondering, this is a cigar. It's not marijuana. I don't even smoke weed, even though it's legal in my state. I don't smoke weed. That's a cigar. Elsewhere on the card here, what else do we have? Okay, so we got that. Oh, announced for night one, Ripley Charlotte main event night one. Not too surprised. This kind of been the pattern lately, the last 3 WrestleManias or so. With the main event, and we're gonna bring Omari in. What's up, Omari? Man, first time I ever meet this guy. We've had some interesting back and forth online. Big wrestling fan, old school like me. What's causing all this, man? What's up, Omari? Top dog, what up?
What up, my homies? What is up? What is up? I'm doing great.
I kind of halfway thought you was black, but your name sound Hispanic. I can't tell. Are you black or what? What do you? Not that it matter. I'm just curious. Omari?
I'm black. Hey, I'm a dark.
Cool. Nice. What's up, man? So, what do you think? The women main event night one of WrestleMania, Charlotte and Ripley.
I honestly, it's just I really don't care no more. I just really engage in it a little bit because
talk a little louder into your mic. You on a mic or earbuds? What you talking on?
I'm on the mic.
Yeah, turn your mic up a little bit or get a little closer to it. I want to make sure they can hear you.
Like that. Honestly, really don't care at this point. It's just boring. It's just forced down your throats. It's just like you have the bloodline story, right?
Right.
Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. That's night 2. That's gonna be night 2. But you have Usos versus Kevin and Sami. That's the biggest story in wrestling right now. The biggest story we had in years, honestly. That should be the main event. But even if you don't want that to be the main event, you have John Cena versus Austin Theory. Yes, I know it's not that big, but
I think you muted yourself by accident.
Oh, I did. That was on accident. But you have John Cena versus Austin Theory, right? Yep. I know it's the biggest match, but it's John Cena, right? He's one of the biggest stars that this company's ever had.
Sure.
That should be a main event. John Cena puts Austin Theory over the main event. Sure. The online is gonna complain, but it doesn't matter. You need new stars. You need to build new stars. So John Cena passes the torch. He puts over Austin Theory main event night 1. Bam, there you go. But no, we have Charlotte be in the main event for the gazillion time for no reason. And did you see on Twitter they were giving her a Legends documentary? It's like, how's she already a legend?
I did not see that, but yeah, it's a bit early to be calling her a legend. Yeah.
Exactly. She's been in the business for 8 years and she's a legend. Okay, well, let me take that back. Because Stone Cold Steve Austin, while they were in the business 5 years. But there's a difference between them. What has Charlotte done? Besides, what has she done? Because with Stone Cold, he saved the business, right? He bought millions and millions of new fans to wrestling. Sure. He put that company on his back and saved it during the war with WCW. What has Charlotte done? I ask my question. Look at Hulk Hogan, the man that brought wrestling to the mainstream. That's GOAT status. John Cena, he kept that company afloat during some tough times.
Sure.
What has Charlotte done to be considered a legend? They shouldn't be throwing that around to anybody now. Doesn't mean.
Now, I don't mind her getting a documentary, but calling her a legend is a bit of a stretch. I don't mind the documentary because Charlotte is head and shoulders, and she get a lot of heat with the neck beards online, but she's obviously head and shoulders better than almost every woman. I'm speaking from a sports entertainment standpoint. Yeah. Let's be honest. Most women in wrestling in general cannot wrestle. I already accepted that. I don't even judge them based off that. That's like judging the NBA to the WNBA. Most WNBA players can't dunk. Lisa, what's her name from the Sparks, was the only person that was able to dunk. She was literally the only female, and Brittany Griner, that was able to dunk. Most women you cannot judge by the same standard. You got to judge them as women. And for the people that think we've been sexist, no. When you talk about athleticism, women aren't as athletic as men from a physiological standpoint. Y'all just not using logic when y'all think. Clearly, women aren't. They have more fat. Their joints is not as flexible as men, so they're not as explosive and stuff like that. So that's why I don't even judge women based off their work rate. I mainly talk about sports entertainment. Now, as exceptions to the rule, you have a Natalia, you'll have a Mandy Rose, you'll have like a Sonya Deville. You got women that can work. Tessa Blanchard, they're out there. I'm sure I'm missing a few others. Britt Baker, they can wrestle. Thunder Rosa, but a lot of WWE women, I don't judge by that standard because it's not about that. It's about, I don't even barely judge the men. But like I said, men are obviously more athletic. The worst man is going to be more athletic than a woman just because of the way our bodies are built. So Charlotte, I don't mind her getting it. And some people got issues. Oh, she got the most title reigns. I mean, honestly, for as far as the era we live in now, who else you going to put it on? Ronda Rousey is up and down with wrestling. She's always got a reason whether she don't like it or she's stepping down. I mean, who the hell is nobody? They don't get anybody else ready for the spotlight. They've completely wasted Shayna Baszler. They ain't even going to talk about what they did to Mandy Rose because we talked about that till we're blue in the face. Everybody has. But they just don't get these women prepared. Nikita Lyons, I would like to see her doing something, but she gets hurt like every month. And she's still young in her career. And she's constantly getting hurt. So honestly, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Amar.
The problem is that you see back in I see like back I don't say that. I'll say back in Roots Aggression, especially in peak TNA, right? Is that you had a balance to this. And you had your work rate. Back in the Roots Aggression, usually it was on Raw, you had the work rate, and it was Trish, Lita, it was Victoria, Molly.
Jazz, yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, later on, it was Melina, Mickey James, Beth Phoenix.
Right.
Then you had the where it be Raw, SmackDown, Candice Michelle, Tori Willis.
Yep, Maria. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sable. Yeah. So I can go on. It's that WWE doesn't, due to the political climate nowadays, they don't emphasize physical, so they focus too much on the in-ring, which leads to girls who doesn't have no business in the ring getting hurt.
And Omari, not to cut, but don't you find it interesting? And JoJo could mention on this too that all these girls was trained by Fit Finley. I have a hard time believing that, considering that they barely can do two moves in the ring half the time. Now, my theory is, I honestly think they're not that tough on the women in training school. The women can get away with doing certain stuff that they will tan the hide of male wrestlers if they did that. Because Sasha Banks allegedly been wrestling since 2009 on the Boston and Northeast Independent Circuit. It does not look like she's been wrestling that long.
Botch machine. He's a complete botch machine. Another see, back in the day, I'm not even gonna say it like the Roots Aggression era. Back in the day, you had women, like people just don't like people like you had multiple roles that women could do that was just strictly in the ring. You could have them be valets and managers like a
backstage interviewers,
backstage interviewer, a Sonny or Maria Kanellis,
Terry Runnels,
Terry Runnels. People think Sonny was just eye candy when no, she was not. When you go back to the New Generation era show, Sonny was, she had it all. She could do like the stuff like Sable and all of them was doing.
Right. She wrestled in ECW with Chris Candido and all of them. Yeah.
She could be a backstage announcer, a backstage interviewer, however you want to call it. She could do commentary. She was able to do it all. These wrestlers nowadays cannot do that. They don't have the charisma. The NXT puts the main roster women.
That's a shame. Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Look at Cora J. Toxic Attraction. I know they broke up, put them together, right? Like those women down there get the business. They understand that it's not just in ring.
Right.
And I hope, I hope that when the Braun Breakers and Grayson Waller comes up to the main roster, that WWE shifts their focus. It's time. Hopefully. It's time to go back to pre-2015 wrestling. At this point, I would take the PG era over this.
Me too.
At least PG era, it was goofy, but at least you still had your storylines. You didn't have to worry about all this political stuff. But you had political stuff, but it wasn't to the degree.
It wasn't so heavy-handed. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Right.
It wasn't so heavy-handed. Now, let me ask you this, because this is kind of a blend podcast, as you might have known from checking out some of my shows on Mari. Are you interested in any of the UFC or MMA stuff that happens? Because that's what JoJo focuses on. By the way, this is my co-host, JoJo. I don't know if you ever met him directly before, but that's JoJo that's on here with me. He's more my MMA correspondent. Yeah.
UFC, I really don't have too much of an opinion on UFC. Like, I watched it a little bit with the Homie Society reviews and Homie W Bounty Hunter, but really don't have an opinion on it. It's like, it's cool. It's like really the only thing we have nowadays that's not politically correct.
Right.
But I like it, but I don't have too much opinion on it. I like old wrestling better. I feel like old wrestling is way better than UFC.
Okay. Fair enough. And UFC, I'm pretty sure you've noticed they've adopted a lot of the WWE strategies with the 24 behind the scenes, building up the fights, the way they cut promos and stuff. Like, they got that from wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, I think everybody know that they got that from wrestling. Like, I was having a debate with some guys in my barbershop this past weekend about some of them being in denial. I was like, okay, let me break something down to y'all real quick. UFC was always going to appeal to hardcore judo and martial arts fans. However, for them to go mainstream, they had to adapt people with explosive personalities that might not be the best fighters, but they can sell tickets. That's why they became mainstream in like 2006 with Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell, Ken Shamrock, who had a stint in WWE anyway. Anybody that was really paying attention know that they got that promo style and stuff from WWE. Even boxing even got it from WWE. You know,
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, everybody makes this stuff. Muhammad Ali said it.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of his trash talk and stuff like that came out of wrestling.
Yeah.
Came from Gorgeous George.
Gorgeous George, yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, that's kind of the state of what we got going on here. I don't know where you from, Omari. I'm from the Midwest, Chicago specifically. I'm looking more towards SummerSlam. SummerSlam's gonna be in Detroit, which is 4 hours from my house. I'm more than likely going to SummerSlam, and I have a feeling, my spirit is telling me that SummerSlam is gonna be better than WrestleMania, because it's been a couple years in a row where it has been. SummerSlam, it just seems like, I don't know, Brock Lesnar is always usually a little more freed up. The legends, I don't know if they're looking for a check usually, or they just more available. But it seems like a couple SummerSlams have been better than a lot of WrestleManias. The last real WrestleMania I thoroughly enjoyed from start to finish was the one that Sting debuted at, and we know what happened with that. Of course, Triple H had to beat him. But that was the last WrestleMania I thoroughly enjoyed. That was like 7 or 8 years ago. Just think about how many mediocre WrestleManias we didn't have. Now, I don't know what you think was your last good WrestleMania. What was the last WrestleMania you thoroughly enjoyed, Omar, that you can remember?
Yeah.
28. You know,
28. Oh, that was before what I said. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, why I said it to the homie old school Jason on Twitter. And I consider John Cena versus The Rock at WrestleMania 28 the one night after the Monday Night Wars era that wrestling really mainstream, because that match and feud was everywhere.
It was, yeah. And think about, that was the last, because old school wrestling feuds used to take a whole year to build up. Like Hogan and Andre, that was like a year, like 3 or 4. That was like a feud 3 or 4 years in the making. Now, in current times, because of all the TV content that they got to put on the air and all that, they got to like rush through stuff sometimes. And I don't particularly care for that. Some storylines are meant to be short. I would acknowledge that. However, think about the dedication it took. The Rock came in 2011. He screwed Cena, making Miz re-debut the title or retain his title, and then they fought at the next year. So think of the commitment that went into that feud. They almost never do that now. I'm sorry, what's that?
Technically, it started in 08 because Cena dissed The Rock. So technically, it started in 2008.
You might be right about that. Wasn't The Rock at the Hall of Fame that year to put his dad and grandfather in? Then they was talking some shit to each other in the press or something like that? Okay, Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. So, I consider that the last time, the one time. I consider that the one true time after the Attitude Era that wrestling was where regular people was actually talking about professional wrestling.
Sure.
And that match, man.
Yeah. Well, let me think a little bit. Ronda coming in, got some mainstream press. Trying to think. Probably, but I get what you mean. You mean just within the world of pro wrestling, yeah. But Logan Paul, Ronda, they've gotten press. Of course, Goldberg coming back got some press. But just to the pro wrestling, other than Austin coming back and stunner events last year, you're pretty much right. It was Rock Cena, and of course they tried to market that as once in a lifetime. We should have knew that was not going to be a once in a lifetime match.
No.
But go ahead, what you about to say?
Absolutely, I'm talking about actual eras on Main Street where it was when you was at school, it was to talk around town. And everybody, that's how mainstream it was. Like, Ron and them coming in got a little bit of hype, but it wasn't like you was talking to your friends about it. Then that's it. Cool. Cena and Rock, you.
Fair enough.
I've heard people telling me before that there was like people coming in with Cena shirts and they was going at it, the Rock fans and going back. It's like, it was cool.
Wow.
It was
it was like they were like the two biggest stars. Yeah.
Right. Now you sound like you're a little younger than me and JoJo. I'm guessing you're probably like your mid-20s, Omari. I'm gonna give you the equivalent of what you just said when I was in school. When I was in school, everybody talked about either Rock and Austin or Rock and Triple H. When I was like growing up in the early 2000s, when I was like 11, 12, that's what everybody talked about when I was at school. Usually Rock, Austin, because they was on their third match. That was before the last 2 years, Austin and Rock was full-time, like 2000, 2001. That's when everybody was. So that's your version of that was Rock Cena, I'm guessing. But and the irony of it, both of us grew up when The Rock was, both our generations, my generation and yours, grew up when The Rock was the top star. Isn't that crazy? That shows you the global superstar. We could talk about the Hogans. We could talk about the Savages, and I like all of it, both of them for their contribution. However, when you talked about WWE's biggest star, as far as everybody know it is, you have to be talking about The Rock. Yeah, people know Hogan. Mostly 80s people and 90s, early 90s know Hogan. The Rock is literally known by everybody because he's been involved in football. He's been involved in wrestling, and now he's involved in Hollywood, plus the XFL. So he's just everywhere. So everybody know who The Rock is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, you said my age, I'm actually pretty young. I'm actually, 18.
You 18?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, dude. I thought you was like maybe 23 or 24, maybe.
I act like it, but like I'm actually 18.
Wow. That's crazy, man.
It's just like a lot of people my age kind of grew up with a lot of stuff, a lot of carryovers. So.
Right.
See,
you're a pretty smart 18-year-old, man.
When I was in school, people just talked about like similar to like mid 2000 kids grew up in the mid to late 2000s. He was pretty much the one, like Batista and Orton. They were pretty much the guys people talked about. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, that's interesting because do you know Destructor and all of them?
Mm-hmm.
You're closer to like Destructors and them, and they're in their early 20s, but y'all kind of like 3-4 years apart. So Destructor's another smart one. Destroyer's a smart. It's a lot of y'all in that group that I like that y'all smart. I'm not sure how Billy Bob is. I think Billy Bob might be older than me. But a lot of y'all in that group is funny that y'all smart because a lot of the 18, I would say to like 24-year-olds, a lot of them smart neckbeards. Like you can't tell them nothing. They think wrestling started when CM Punk was around, when he walked out on WWE, or maybe a little bit. I would say the Summer of Punk, which was 3 years before that. They think that's what the zenith of wrestling was. And when you try to tell them something, they'll try to mute you or block you on Twitter. I don't care about either. My issue is don't try to talk to me like you know more about wrestling when I grew up around wrestling. Don't do that. You know what I mean? And that's the attitude that a lot of them have. A lot of them have that attitude that they think they know. They're the gatekeepers of what sell and only what Meltzer says in the dirt sheets and wrestling's about work rate. No, it's not, motherfuckers. It's always been about personality. It don't matter what era you go to. Even when you go back to like the 60s, people know how to cut promos. Like that's always been the part of the fabric of wrestling, you know? And that's unfortunately why we are where we are right now. I'm gonna ask you a couple rapid fire questions, Omari, and you're welcome to stick around with us. But I'm gonna pass to JoJo to wrap it up with UFC. I can't go super long, y'all. That's why usually on Mondays and Tuesdays I do 2 shows because I work early in the morning, so I try to be off at least before 10 o'clock. Yeah. But 10 o'clock my time. I'm not sure what time, so like another hour or so. So I'm going to ask you some rapid fire, just random questions, and then I'm going to pass it over to JoJo because this show might only be total about 2 hours. But you're welcome to join us tomorrow when we talk about NXT and stuff like that because I usually do Mondays and Tuesdays back to back.
I'll make sure to join tomorrow.
Absolutely, and I'll send you a reminder. But before you go or just, chill in or whatever, I'm going to ask you just a couple random rapid fire questions because I like to do that when I get guests on just because I don't get them all the time.
Say
that again?
All right. You can go ahead.
What's your opinion on the current belts, like the designs and the way they look, the current title belts. What's your opinion on those?
The curtain belts, they're absolutely garbage.
Okay.
I know like a lot of people hated the spinner belt. I would take the spinner belt any day over the week of this curtain title. Because at least the spinner belt has some personality to it. And at least actually cool people held that title, like Cena, of course, Edge, Triple H, The Rock, Randy Orton, actually cool people, Jeff Hardy, people who you can actually actually held that title. This current title has been held by bums.
Yeah, that's a fair point. You know what I mean? Think about let's take Jinder Mahal for a second. A person that had a completely thrown together title reign. He's had better title reigns than like the last two, minus Roman Reigns. He has better title reigns than Seth Rollins. He's had better title reigns than Dean Ambrose. He's had better title reigns than Alberto Del Rio. Think about the awful champions we've had over the last 10 years with that current belt.
What's crazy is that what's crazy is that this current belt has been around longer than the spinner belt. The spinner belt was around from 2005 to 2013. So that was 8 years.
That's a good point. Yeah.
This belt, and the current belt it's been here since 2013. It hasn't been replaced. It's been here way longer than the spinner belt. Yet somehow it doesn't get as much hate, at least where I it does. When the spinner belt was just better. It was the spinner was a complete hate from the undisputed belt. Which even then, I kind of think that could be a little bit overrated because the Attitude Era belt was way better. And the belt before the Attitude belt was, in my opinion, the best WWF design. Don't even get me started on the classic Intercom, the New Generation Era IC Championship. That championship was beautiful. These championships suck.
Right.
And I usually try not to be that guy that hearts from the past. I try not to be that guy. Because I'm that person that looks at it without the nostalgia glasses off. So I try not to be that type of guy. I just got I gotta agree, these belts suck.
Yeah, and a lot of them just look too uniform. Like the tag belts look exactly the same. Like I don't like that. I want them to go back when Carlito and his brother unified the titles. Those were the belts looking tag team titles. I don't understand why they never got rid of them. They were unique to both brands. They didn't have too much blue or too much red. It was just an accent, like just enough so you can distinguish them to their relevant brand. Now it's just like they got the straps. Now, granted, the red ones look a little better than the blue ones, but come on now, you got those cheap ass looking, like they got that from a Nigerian scam artist, that damn center plate. That Roman Coliseum bullshit. Like no, a kid wouldn't even take that shit serious. Like a minor league kids basketball wouldn't even take that as a trophy. It's a shitty design that it probably took 1 hour to come up with. What's that?
They got these titles from Toys R Us. Actually, not
probably. Toys R Us in a third world country somewhere. Yeah, probably.
So I take that back. Toys R. I forgot Toys R Us. It's not a store anymore. But they got it from some toy company that's so.
Absolutely. Now, next rapid fire question. What is your general opinion on AEW? I don't like it a lot. They got a couple people I like, but I don't even bother watching that show.
AEW is AEW is tried. See, AEW has potential, but it's Tony Khan. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know. And Millennial Smart made a good point. It's like you have to keep up on court or go against court. In this case, you need to go against court. And this is for wrestling in general. It's the problem with wrestling is that they're either not going with the culture or they're not going against it. If you go, like in the 90s, right? When the attitude, right? That was at the time. The Jerry Springers of the world, new metal. That's why there was a boom period. They could have had a boom period in the middle. That was just with John Cena, what rap popular, but they took the gimmick away from him too fast. When that was a mistake. Like I understand they had to go PG because that was
the Benoit stuff, yeah.
But like if they kept that Doug gimmick, the rapper gimmick, and just make the shows a little bit better, they could have won another boom period because rap was all the rage around that time. G Unit was running the game. Eminem, Jay-Z,
Nelly, people with the bling and stuff,
yeah. And what's like they didn't do, and that's what, but they didn't do that. They had to make him Hogan-esque, which I don't have a problem. other people do, but it's like you should have kept the gimmick longer. You could have got like a good 3-year boom period out of that. But
Sure.
no, but
I think if they was gonna go the Hogan route, they should have put the prototype stuff back on him. Made him wear the tights, and that would have been a more natural. He could have still been a babyface, just make him wear traditional wrestling tights. I think that would have been a better route to go if they're gonna do the Hogan thing. But I mean, he's found a way to make the goofy ass T-shirts and the highlighter look, and he's found a way to make it look. I've never liked it, but I mean, he sold a lot of merchandise while he wore it, so clearly it got over with somebody. But yeah, AEW, man, and I feel like the one standout thing. What's that?
I said they need to either embrace the culture or go against the culture. This culture, do not embrace this culture. This culture, wow. Go. Honestly, it makes sense because you have people like us, you know, the anti-SW going against this, who's going against the culture. If you would, people think if you go against the culture, well, you can't do that for 9 days, which I will agree, but also at the same time, South Park is able to do this stuff. They culture. Why can't wrestling? Wrestling can do the same thing. Go against the culture. And in my opinion, wrestling, if they was to go against the culture, honestly, could be bigger than it was.
Right. I will say this about the Attitude Era, and what people say you can't do it again. You can't do it from the perspective where you got women barking and all that, but you can have blood. You can have more intense rivalries where it was actually filmed and make it look edgy looking. Like I've always said, I don't know if you ever heard me say this on my show, but me, JoJo, and Jason and people that's been on my show, we've always said that, well, mainly me, that wrestling doesn't take advantage of current technology. How in the world's Impact, who's on a channel that less people have, taking better advantage of 4K cameras and, you know, with Sami Callihan, I dislike him for a lot of reasons, but he's smart when it comes to technology. When he did that thing with his phone where Moose had him pinned against the wall and it looked like he had nowhere to go, and he hit that button and the lights went out, that's what the current Attitude Era can be. More edgy looking, you know, creative writing and them producing outside the ring stuff. That's what it can look like. And big feuds need to have blood. I'm so sick and tired of Hell in a Cell matches not having blood. How do you have an elimination chamber with mats and the crap like that? No blood. It looks stupid. You know, and we don't need annual pay-per-views all the time. Have the pay-per-view come out when it's necessary for the feud. I don't want to see a Hell in a Cell TLC. I don't want to see that every single year. You know, so that's what I say to people about AK having the attitude. Yes, you can. It's about having smart writers, and they're out there. It's just a matter of letting them do what they do. It's a lot of good writers out there. WWE's have to let them do it. Everybody's so caught up in all this SJW and, you know, inclusion and all. Wrestling was never designed for liberals. It never specifically feminist liberals. It wasn't designed for them. What's that, Mark?
You're appealing to the young. Yes, I know. But Gen Z, but Gen Z, they're SJWs. Not all of them is SJWs. A lot of them will watch this, honestly. But AEW, man, they don't. This is for wrestling, and they need to go against the culture. Like I said it before, D-Generation S could work now. If you book it right, if you do it right, D-Generation S honestly would be way more over than it was in the late 90s. Because how culture is.
Right.
And you put the right people. In my opinion, my idea for my day Generation S would be Grayson Waller, Austin Theory, Enzo Amore could work because he has to.
Yes.
Enzo, because I know people say, why is Amore? Well, he has the allegations, right? He got canceled for the allegations. So he can use him joining D-Generation S could be used against that. He goes tell the SJWs and no woman to suck it.
Sure. He could be like the road dog out of the group.
Yeah, exactly.
He could be and Austin Theory and them could be the tag champions. And you need a big star main event. You know what? I put it up in there, and I like who you put it. So you smart. I like the way you think. I'm gonna round it out. You know who would be the Triple H of the group? LA Knight. I'll put LA Knight up. He'll be the heavyweight of the group because LA Knight fits that type of that gimmick. He fits that.
Yeah, and Grayson Waller could be the Shawn.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. Yep. And we'll have to get like maybe a female. I'm trying to think of a female that fits. You know what? Carmella, Carmella or Chelsea Green could be the female in the group.
Now I would say Tiffany Stratton because she's kind of big. She's not of course.
Who did you? You broke up. Who did you say? I ain't hear what you said. Who did you say?
Tiffany Stratton.
Oh, Stratton. Tiffany Stratton. Maybe, yeah, she kind of got that China look. I see where you're going with.
And
sure.
Plus she's really hot too. So she's gonna.
Yeah, she is a cute girl. Yeah,
so
she's
she'll
cute.
Get over with the team boys.
Sure. Yeah,
then,
she sure would.
And then you have, in my opinion, do like a Stone Cold Steve Austin mixed with a Scott Steiner type gimmick.
Who's that? Who did you say?
Bro, I would have Braun Breaker do a Stone Cold Steve Austin mixed with a little bit of a Scott Steiner type gimmick.
Sure.
I feel like he could do that.
Sure. I can even think he could pull a Goldberg type thing where he just dominate people. I think he could pull that off too. Yeah.
Sure. I would rather see him do like Stone Cold Steve Austin type gimmick where he just goes against the system.
Sure.
Like,
sure.
It would be cool to say, and then the crap.
You know the irony, Omari? The irony of what you just said is their version of that right now is supposed to be Kevin Owens, but he's too much of an SJW to really do it. He's not tough enough to handle criticism to do it. Like, he be getting mad when people call him pudgy. You supposed to embrace it. You supposed to say, yeah, I'm pudgy, but I still can get your woman, and I'll still kick your ass. That's what a character like, because Kevin Owens, to me, he reminds me more of Mick Foley than Stone Cold. But a lot of these current people are convinced that he's the modern-day Stone Cold. He even does the stunner, you know?
Yeah, so, like, the only guy in the last, ever since the died, even then, he wasn't.
Say it one more time. Who did you say? You breaking up a little bit. Who did you say?
In my opinion, Economic John Smith is it's really the only guy that's comparable Stone because he lost.
You could say that. Yeah, the foul mouth, the rap, the way he used to throw the nuts that people will say you can choke on these. Yeah, you can say that. I see where you're going with that.
Yeah,
that's a good question. Couple more rap, huh?
He was more like, honestly, my opinion, what makes it right? It's like, yeah, it was his own self, but honestly, kind of what's this between Rock and Austin because really think of it, how he disrespected people on the mic.
Sure.
And then he did a blood, with a manga.
Yeah. And you know what? I honestly think John Cena shows a lot of glimpses of being a heel, like when he shot on Austin Theory 2 weeks ago. It's there. It's just the company is afraid to turn him heel because he's such a cash cow for them. But obviously, Cena has the propensity to be a heel. Like, that asshole is still there. You could tell. Like when he told The Rock he had notes on his hand. That's some asshole stuff to do. He still can do it. They just don't allow him to.
Well, technically, being an asshole to him. So I mean,
sure. Oh no, he did right by butchering his ass. He wouldn't even have to be an asshole to me. I would have did it just because WWE needed some edgy content at the time. They were so bereft of edgy content. That was what was needed at the time. So that was that. But yeah, I'm gonna ask you a couple more rapid fire, and then we're gonna keep it pushing.
Hey, before we move on to the next question, I was gonna say though, me and somebody was talking about this on Twitter. It's like honestly, they should consider a double turn between Theory and Cena because Cena came off as the heel. It's time, like, he needs to have a big heel turn, a big heel run before he retires. I'm not saying it needs to be long, but it's a short one because that will kind of be a stain on his legacy for every other face heel turn when they became a guy, but he's the only one that didn't. He needs to be a Hollywood Rock run or just a short NWO where he revives the NWO for a short run. Sure. I feel like, in my opinion, he pulls it off more than Hogan did because he's more Hollywood than Hogan ever was.
Sure. I wouldn't hate it. I just don't see WWE doing it. I mean, it's not the worst idea. I just don't see them doing it just because where he's at in his career, and they always want to pimp him for PR and all that type of stuff. It's definitely not a bad idea. I just don't see WWE doing it. Like, they would have had to do that in like 2015 or something like that.
Well, again, the thing is, they're not focusing on cultures that a lot of people has turned on Cena because the whole China stuff, and now he's in Hollywood wearing stuff. People is turning on him because he's a sellout, and then he's embracing this old SJW stuff.
Sure.
Like, why? I should say again, they're trying to focus on culture. This is the problem, and this is see. We need a modern day Russo. We need a modern so bad because yes, Russo was not the greatest Yeah, Russo was maybe not the best, but he knew he stuck up. That's why we got such. That's why we got whoever in the 90s.
Russo was the closest thing we had to the greatest writer. I mean, even with his flaws, I take his flaws over almost every writer today. They all write the same shit. Cuck, goofy, SJW shit. They all write that.
Yeah. And Russo was in tune with culture. The culture of the time. That's it. Jerry the Springer and TRL.
Sure. South Park too. Yeah, he had some of that South Park stuff on there too. Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. And then again, like the Brian Panties matches, that makes more sense for today because there's OnlyFans.
Right, with the OnlyFans. That's a good point.
Again, we need a modern if we want wrestling to become mainstream again, we're gonna have to get a modern day Vince Russo who's young.
Right.
Especially somebody like me, because like they're in their early 20s, or they're in their early
or not even 20 yet, but yeah.
Yeah, but you get this though.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
We're young and we know what people are.
Right. You know what's funny, Omari, and I'm glad you brought this because I wouldn't have been thinking of this otherwise. People in this SJW culture is not as innocent as they try to portray themselves to be. All these women at Virtue Signal that don't comment on my body, even though I put up a sexually suggestive photo, a lot of them behind closed doors are not like that. Even at AEW, I'm sure you saw TWRP's video when they did that forum. I forget 4chan when they did the 4chan forum, and that secret wrestler was saying AEW wrestlers not as innocent as you think they are. They all party, have sex with each other, and do drugs. And I kind of knew that anyway because I know how people think, but. That adds more credence to what you just said about how we need modern day Brian Panties. We need somebody that's young that know what the young people want to see. I mean, that's icing on the cake. You're right about that. They can virtual signal all they want, but I already know those women are sluts in real life. The Iconics, Chelsea Green, Marty Bell, all those women are sluts. If you look at their Instagram pages and stuff and I'm not trying to say derogatory sluts, but you know what I mean? They thoughts, they put their shit out there online. This is not, they can try to virtue signal all they want. All of them got OnlyFans page. They all do. So, yeah, they're being hypocrites with that shit.
Hey, that's why I say the NXT woman is, again, because I never see the NXT woman. Like, yeah, like you have the Cora J stuff with, Darby Allin, but I rarely see them engage in it.
Right. You know who I could see being down with all that sex stuff? Gigi Dolan. She seemed like she totally down for going nude. I could just look at a chick like her and tell she'd be down for some stuff like that. Nikita Lyons is another one. Since we're talking about NXT people, even the girl, the Australian girl, that's a cute girl. The one that was with Dexter Lumis, which I don't understand why they not a pair on the main roster. That's kind of like that could be a modern day Macho Man. Elizabeth, he can go crazy when people look at her and stuff like that. They're not taking advantage of that at all. Like I think they dropped the ball on Loomis and Indy versus Miz and his wife. That would have drew money. They completely dropped the ball with that shit, dude.
Yo, that that one chick, that Kiana James' assistant. I can't pronounce her name. She is a absolute
JoJo. What's that girl's name? Kiana James' assistant.
She is a.
Who you talking about?
Kiana James' assistant on NXT. What's that girl's name?
Oh, Giovanna. She's a jiu-jitsu person. Yeah, her name is Giovanna something in real life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
That's the hot girl.
She's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioner. Yeah.
Yeah. She's hot.
They say they have a training low key. Yeah. She is hot.
Like a development system has to hot chick, and the main roster has to. That is backwards. That's so backwards.
Right. It is.
NXT, right? I can off the top of my head, Gigi Dolan, JC James, Nikita Lyons, Tiffany, Cora J, Roxanne.
Even Lash Legend is cute for a big girl like that. An Amazon, she's pretty. That's a pretty girl. She could be like WWE's version of Jade Cargill. She's cute. Oh, speaking of which, did y'all see Jade Cargill kissing that girl?
Hey, speaking of I was gonna say, since she has that talk show, why don't you kind of make it to Jerry Springer, where you have you have people who don't like each other, you just have them fight. That would be cool.
Sure. Yeah, and I think I might have said something back when I originally saw you talking about that Lash Legend talk show thing. Yeah, that'd be a good way to utilize that and get women on there that they weak in the ring, but they kind of drama queens type. That's what the Carmellas and the Chelsea Greens. I'll put them on that type of show. Yeah, Morgan, that's the people. That's what they designed for.
Yeah, like like what, like go full Jerry Springer with it. Like when, like, you know, like a month ago on NXT when Cora Jade and Roxanne was shooting, and then they got in that fight on Grayson Waller, and the crowd changed Jerry. Yo, that would be awesome, man. I would be there for that. But like, yeah, you have Roxanne. Who else? You have Taylor Ashley. I mean, you have those girls that came out with Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller is he is the man.
WWE. This should be the year that Grayson Waller breaks out as a main roster person. They got that silly ass Money in the Bank in London this year. I already know they're leaning towards putting it on one of them boring assholes. What the smart thing to do was to put it on Grayson Waller. He's the closest thing to an acceptable UK, even though he's from Australia. But some people mix them up because they have similar sounding accents. You wouldn't even be able to tell the difference. Put the damn briefcase on Grayson Waller. No, nobody want to see Gunther with the fucking briefcase or one of those other boring assholes, Joe Coffey or somebody like that.
It's gonna be a hot take. It's gonna be a hot take, but in my opinion, right now, Grayson Waller is more entertaining than Roman Reigns.
He is. I don't think it's much controversy to that. The Roman Reigns thing kind of peaked, and I think a lot of people lost interest when they knew The Rock wasn't going to wrestle him. I think a lot of people was like, whatever, this Sami Zayn stuff was good for like a week or two, but it's kind of old. You know what I mean?
In my opinion, Grayson Waller shows better mic skills and like more sight. Sure. Like Roman, like I'm not saying Roman is, Roman is good, tribal chief, right? But like Grayson Waller just comes off as more fun.
I know what you mean. Yeah, he's a lot more. Yeah. Even Miz to me is better than Roman Reigns on the mic. I like Miz too. Last question I'm gonna ask you, Omari, then I'm gonna let you slide because we gotta get into this UFC. Then we're gonna wrap up. But you're more than welcome to join us tomorrow. And I have more questions for you tomorrow as well.
Stay for the UFC stuff. We're gonna talk about that and some other stuff.
Sure. We good for like another 35, 45 minutes. Then I'm gonna wrap the show up. But the last rapid fire question I'm gonna ask you.
Hey, but I was gonna say this though real quick.
Go ahead.
Now with those NST chicks, a lot of those, which one I'm talking about. And when he faced Brock, that steel cage, I think, and he came out with all those chicks.
I might have missed that. You don't have to hit me up today. I don't think I saw that.
All right, so I'm sending it to you on Twitter after the show. But it was when he faced Braun Vengeance Day. He came out with all those chicks. Oh man,
he came out with the chicks in the shoe. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I missed that. I didn't see that.
The golden shoe. Yeah.
Started making
the cage match.
It sounds great though.
Yo, man,
it's almost like when Lashley and her biz used to come out with the females and they cut the budget during the pandemic. That was different. It made them look like they was actually VIP. They had those nice looking girls coming out with Lashley. They had on suits. They just look good. I agree. That's something that needs to happen a lot more with characters that fit that bill. Now, who, if you could poach anybody from AEW right now that you think is ready for the main roster, male or female, and either put them on NXT or the main roster, who would you take from AEW, Omar?
Male or female?
Yep. It could be multiple people.
MJF would be one, of course.
Yep, I agree.
Wardlow and Brian Cage.
Sure, Brian Cage, Wardlow. Yep, I agree with those.
But they really ruined. But honestly, I think that things go to WWE. WWE could turn around. I say, so let's pick some women. Eva J, Tay Conte. Yeah, I know people don't like Tay because
I like Tay Conte. I don't care what the neck beard is talking about. I like her.
I know, but like people don't like her being a hoe. Some people on our side don't like her.
I guess.
But Anna J.
Oh yeah, Anna J is the real deal.
Anna J. One of the six hot.
Yeah. Britt Baker, I would take her too, Britt Baker, because she can talk. I'll take Britt Baker as well.
WRP.
And Jade Cargill, I'll definitely take Jade Cargill. And I'll take her exactly as she is because WWE have a habit of taking people that's from another company and don't let them do what they do, like LA Knight, for example, and Karrion Kross. Let these people do what made them famous. And I will take Jade Cargill. And matter of fact, bring her as a manager. Bring Velvet. What's that girl name? Red Velvet. She's cute too, and she's talented. Yeah, bring her over as well. Take them people I take as far as women because there's a lot you can do with them.
It's crazy that before the NXT chicks, the NXT AEW had in wrestling.
Yeah,
with them. Tony Khan's That's for another day. But Anna Jay, I would take Anna Jay, take C, the Bunny, Sky Blue, because you can do a little feud with her and
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
You
Sky
do
Blue's got good Instagram too. I like her. Yeah,
Sky Blue, Red Velvet. Who
yeah.
else? I would say Vicky Guerrero, just so you can do the like
Sure. Yeah.
integrate.
I,
Hey,
bring Andrade with her too. Yeah.
speaking of John, I want to talk about this for after this. But, who else? I would say the bunny too. She's a pretty
Oh yeah, that's a hot vegan. Yes, hot vegan girl.
the bunny. Who
Yeah.
even though he does
Oh, oh, we lost Omari. I don't know if it was connection or what, but we lost him. We'll probably get him back in a second. BX Connect, man. Let us know what's causing all this with UFC 286, man. The rematch, the trilogy. We've been trying to do this for a few days now. I'm not sure. Well, we have different things come up while we couldn't do it, but man, let us know what happened. What's causing all this with UFC 286? Son? What's causing all of this? UFC 286, the much anticipated rematch.
Yeah, man. Well, UFC 286 took place Saturday afternoon, man. Thank God it was an early card, so it was like yeah, there was a lot of yeah, it was good for everybody, so everybody was able to catch it for the most part. But yeah, man, a lot of yeah, there was some good fights. It was a good fight overall. The crowd was into it. A lot of the fights though ended by decision, but there were some really good highlights in the card. Just to breeze through real quick before I hit the main event. We had Dan Hardy's wife. Dan Hardy's wife, that was a former MMA fighter. She retired for like 3 years. She came back. She beat the recently tough. Was it Tough 30? Yeah, the Tough 30 finalist, the flyweight finalist. The winner actually, Juliana Miller. She won by unanimous decision. Totally shut that girl down. Awesome performance by her. There was a fight that ended in a draw between Ludovic Klein and Jai Herbert. That was a pretty hardcore fight, man. Back and forth action. Um, if I remember, I think there was a point deduction in that fight because of a groin shot. Um, that ended in a draw. We had Joanne Wood. She got a win finally. She was on a losing streak. She beat Luana Carolina. Good showing by her out of Scotland. So, the UK crowd was all cheers for that. Our boy Jake Hadley, man. He fought this dude Malcolm Gordon. Hadley's more known for his jiu-jitsu skills instead of his striking. But this boy put fist to face and landed two nasty body shots. Ended up folding Malcolm Gordon in about a minute, a little over a minute, like a minute. Yeah, like a little over a minute within a minute. Folded him with a KO. So he won by KO. Well, actually TKO because then he started hitting this man like he had like dude stole his money or some shit. That shit was kind of crazy. Christian Leroy Duncan had his debut against Dusko Todorovic. Christian Leroy Duncan is a crazy kickboxer out of England. Dusko Todorovic is out of Serbia. They fought. The fight didn't really go that far. Dudes were in the clinch against the cage. Dusko moved, and it seemed that he fucked up a ligament in his knee, and they stopped the fight. So the fight was over due to the injury, and Leroy Duncan won. There was a split decision between Lerone Murphy and Gabriel Santos. Lerone Murphy's been out of fighting for like about a year and 4 months. Santos is coming on his debut. Santos, an aggressive Brazilian. This motherfucker was throwing some shots, boy. Lerone, for being out for a while, managed to have his fastest with him. Was landing some really good shots. Killer right hands he was landing throughout the fight. But Santos was getting a couple good takedowns on this dude. But Lerone Murphy's stand-up, I think, and the cleaner shots that he threw is what helped him win the split decision. So he won. One of the highlights, Muhammad Mokaev fought Jafel Filo. Crazy fight. I don't know what, yo. This shit was bonkers because there was some striking, good strikes between the two. A lot of scrambling because of the jiu-jitsu from Filo, and then you have Makaya's wrestling. So that shit, it kind of clashes. There was a lot of scrambles that go on if you know about wrestling, like Greco-Roman wrestling, freestyle wrestling, the scramble situations that go on. So, you know what I mean? You fight for position. In the third round, though, Filo grabbed his leg and had a knee bar. Oh, my fucking God. Most people would have tapped to the knee bar. This man did not tap to the knee bar. Fucking ended up damn near. It looked like his knee, his whole leg was gonna bend. He looked like his leg in one more like push, nudge, his leg was gonna snap. Yo, what's up, Victor? Chilling, man, chilling. How you doing? But yeah, this dude, his knee looked like that shit was gonna snap. He manages not only to not tap, but fucking cool. Not only did he manage to not tap, he manages to pull out of the shit, and then with seconds left in the last round, he gets the submission via rear naked choke. Like, bro, I don't understand that shit. That was so weird, man. But fucking, that was just crazy. Chris Duncan won against Omar Morales. That fight was all right. Chris Duncan almost got taken out in the first round, but he manages to use wrestling. Jack Shore showed up to 145, fought Makwan Americani. Americani won the first round with wrestling. Then he kind of gassed out and got hustled by Shore. Shore beat him by rear naked choke submission. Marvin Vittori fought Roman Dolidze. Questionable on the judges' scorecard, but Marvin won. I think Marvin did a lot more work, the leg kicks, but Roman did a lot more of the punches. Big ass strikes, strong motherfucker. He throws punches, bro. Roman got hands, man. And Marvin was taking some of them things, boy. Shit. But one of the picks, and I wish this dude Mike would have picked with me, but Mike picked Casey O'Neill. I picked Jennifer Maya, and Jennifer Maya got the unanimous decision win. That was just crazy because Jennifer Maya came out, old school aggression, on the move, outstruck Casey O'Neill, which was crazy, but it is what it is. The homie Gunnar Nelson showed up, fight Brian Barberina. That lasted within a round. Gunnar Nelson got the submission. Justin Gaethje and Rafael Fiziev had probably fight of the night. You want to talk about a war? Jesus fucking Christ, that was a war. Shit got ugly. Mofos were throwing punches, throwing kicks, all types of shit. Fiziev took an accidental eye poke, then had cuts in both eyes, around both eyes. Eventually, Justin Gaethje managed to press a little bit through in the third round because it was kind of 1-1. He pressed through. He got the win. Justin Gaethje wins the co-main. And then we had the main event, man. Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards. Everybody was ready for this. Both of these guys were 1-1. Usman winning the first fight. Leon Edwards winning the second fight in dramatic fashion. This fight, however, was kind of crazy because a lot of pressure was on Leon to win, you know? Usman coming in, it's only been a couple months, you know, and then you hear people talk about, oh, Usman's old, and you know what I mean? It's not him being old. It's just, you know, what's your game plan? What's your strategy going to be? You got to go back in there and train. But because he was a wrestler in the past life, you know, there's a lot of impact that goes on with your legs, your knees. And, you know, he's already had knee surgeries before. So that's the whole thing. You go back into training. How much does that wear and tear do? You know, so he came in, but I didn't necessarily think his knees were shot, or I don't think it was him getting old, man. I just think Leon came in knowing what he had to do in the second fight, how he looked in the third fight here. He just pretty much implemented all of that shit, and he took off, and he never let up. nasty body kicks. His whole thing was working on the body and the legs, not necessarily going for head punches. He threw the occasional head kick just to keep Usman at a little bit at bay, because Usman did get knocked out by a head kick. But Usman did try to pressure, but he didn't do as much pressuring because Leon kept kicking the knees. He kept the oblique kicks, like how John Jones uses oblique kicks. He kept the nasty body. Oh my fucking god, yo! The first body kick Leon Edwards threw had to be one of the nastiest joints, man. But the rest of those was a lot of body kicks. Usman seemed to be pissed off about it because he couldn't get to Leon as much as he could, and Leon defended a lot of takedowns. Big work by Leon Edwards. Good job. Leon wins the third fight, man. The trilogy, unanimous decision. We'll see what happens next with Usman, man. But I think Usman let a little bit too much aggression out there. He wasn't thinking with the clear, calm head that he normally does, and that really cost him against Leon Edwards. But that was what happened, man. UFC 286. There was a boxing fight that took place, but it wasn't a big time boxing. It was Jojo Diaz versus what was his name? Nasati. Hester. There you go. And Hester beat Diaz. That was okay. But next week, man, they got Benavidez versus Plant. That shit is going to be the boxing fight. If you're into boxing, catch that. I think that's on Showtime. Yeah. Hold on. Let me pull it back. Yeah. David Benavidez, Caleb Plant. Yeah. That's going to be on Saturday. As well as on Saturday, we have UFC Fight Night. Vera versus Sandhagen. That's 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. That card starts with the prelims and the main card. Headlined by Marlon Vera and Corey Sandhagen, two guys competing in the bantamweight division. Guys that are very close to getting a title shot. On the co-main event, we got Yana Kunitskaya, who's now Yana Santos because she's married to Thiago Santos, fighting the returning Holly Holm, former bantamweight champion, the lady who got the highlight reel knockout on Ronda Rousey. Yes, her. There's a couple other good fights on the card. Yeah, man, and that's it. I know somewhere down the line I'm gonna see Jason, and Jason's gonna give me a whole lot of shit about Leon Edwards winning the title and all that stuff. But till then, I'm gonna chill. He was on Saturday, but I didn't get to. I talked to him a little bit, but it's like he was kind of busy, so I didn't get to talk to him as much. Yeah, but yeah. But I know when I do see him or hear from him, he's gonna talk a whole lot of shit. He'll be like, Leon, I told you Leon's gonna win.
That's gonna make up for the fact that John Jones won and he ain't like it. You already know he was gonna be pissed.
Exactly.
Yeah, John Jones won. But tell that Negro when you see him to fix his phone, because I don't know what's going on with his phone. I thought we was gonna have to put an SOS signal out for his ass. I thought Comshot got to him and kicked the shit out of him. I thought that's what it was, because he been talking real greasy about the man. You better leave them Russians alone, man. Them people, they'll twist you up like a pretzel. You know what I mean? How you say, well, Booker T said, what'd he do to him? They telling me I don't want none. Say, mama, I don't want no more. Or whatever you said that time about, who was that? Ezekiel Jackson. He said, but Chambers told him, no, don't you dare, son. I don't want none. Remember Booker T was talking that shit, whatever he was talking about. And Booker T Booker T go hit him with the and Cop Shot got chased. He gonna choke him out, say no wrestling. Oh, dog, he just beat his ass. That's what Booker T gonna say to him. Speaking of Booker T, we didn't get to mention this for some reason. It skipped my mind. This happened weeks ago, but they ran the angle after the Sotomora match at the last pay-per-view. It was Vengeance Day or something. They ran the angle after the match she passed out. And boy, roadblock. And they ran that angle where Booker T, man, he looked so legit and concerned. That's what acting is supposed to look like. He actually sold that angle like she passed out. And for people that don't know, that had Shawn Michaels written all over it. because Shawn Michaels did the same thing when he passed out when he with the Intercontinental title after the accident with the Marines back in '92. When that was the same angle, that's how you know Shawn Michaels booked that. But hey, what's old is new again. It was good. It was executed pretty well. Booker T looked believable when he got in. He actually looked like he was concerned when she passed out. Both being fatal 4-way tag.
Yeah, he did. He did. He definitely did. Good job on his part, though.
They actually added 2 pointless matches at WrestleMania 39. Which ones are those? Both fatal 4-way tag. Oh, that must be recent because I didn't see nothing about no fatal 4-way tag matches. Let me see. I just refreshed the page. Oh yeah, I see with Strowman them. I see it. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Yeah. We were just talking about earlier, Victor, how the Hurt Business needs to have a thing or whatever. How the Hurt Business needs to be involved, especially with Lashley not having an opponent now. They need to have some type of with the Hurt Business. That's what I was saying. You know.
Right.
But yeah, you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm looking forward to the Edge and Finn Balor, Hell in a Cell, Cena in Theory. What else we got on here? And whatever the stars do. But Lesnar almost, I just hope they beat the piss out of each other, even if it's for 7 or 8 minutes. That'll be something. It's nice to see big dudes just doing big things. Whatever the celebrity, hopefully Rock show up. You know, Austin, like I said, I mean, I will have him do something with Miz. That seems like the most logical thing to do. And then whatever Logan Paul does, you know what I mean? Logan Paul's Logan Paul, so he's gonna make whatever he do entertaining. I might actually check that out. This might be the first Seth Rollins match I watched in a couple years. I refused to watch this match, and I would say about 1.5 years, 2 years. But I just want to see what Logan Paul gonna do. We'll see how I'm feeling come that day. But right now, I might check it out just because he's in it. Yeah, I don't know what happened, Mari, man. And I know that I saw the private thing. I'll be forgetting about these private messages. I'm not sure what happened, but I know you was cutting out real bad, so maybe it was your signal. But like I said, I'm gonna get you on again tomorrow, because we about to wrap this up. Rey Mysterio, Great Muta, Kaufman, Hoffman. Hell yeah, we were talking about that earlier too. That's a great class that's going in. I want to see hot women too. This will be the night for them to have like some type of bikini thing or some with, you know, swimsuits, because they're gonna be in California, which the weather is usually great in California, like 80% of the year. So I mean, going into April, that's close to summer, so you know it's gonna be some pretty good weather. But yeah, as always, Mr. B 1986, go check him out. Cope's Corner every Friday. Go win yourself some money. MMA predictions, fights, all that good stuff. JoJo and Mike got a great show. The big ups to brother Mike, as always. Cope's Corner, man. KOPES Corner with a K. Go win yourself some money. We back on Twitch. Hallelujah. It was a bit of a headache. They talking about Tori. Stacey Keeler was nude on the picture. If you go look at the picture, she clearly wasn't. And they actually emailed me and apologized. Said it was my mistake. So I'm gonna get them credit. Y'all apologize because I was gonna stay on y'all ass, so I didn't. I worked too hard for my Twitch channel to get it taken out with some bullshit. I was gonna be at y'all damn throats like a violin. I was not playing, but they gave it back to me. It took like 2 weeks, but I got it back. And I told them there better not be no strike, and I still better be an affiliate. And I looked at it; it's still up. So yeah, it's good to be back on Twitch because I know my fans like, what the fuck is going on? I ended up getting the new wrestling game on PS5, Victor. I folded, but I split it. I didn't play fully. I split it. I split it with someone. So it's actually pretty good. It's better than I expected. It's not perfect, but they improved on the GM, which I'm gonna put most of my time into. The Cena showcase is pretty good. I only played one match with RBD, but it was great. RVD and Cena in the showcase from ECW One Night Stand. That was cool. So yeah, that's what we got going on. We got things coming up. You can expect me and JoJo again. Definitely WrestleMania, but we'll see what happens in between then. Probably a UFC show coming up we're going to do. But anything else, whatever, just pops up kind of. I don't really have a schedule much wrestling no more because it's not a whole lot to cover other than the big shit. The Go Home show for Raw is next week. We'll see what they do with that. But yeah, WrestleMania, more than likely night 2. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna do 2 nights of WrestleMania. I would rather cover UFC that weekend if they're gonna have UFC that Saturday. I'd rather cover that, and then Sunday, because I'm off on weekends anyway. So Sunday, we'll cover WrestleMania. I'm not doing both nights of WrestleMania. And if we do night 1, we'll do a brief synopsis on night 2. I'm not doing live 3 hours back. Hell no. I'd rather be doing something else. But yeah, we'll put more than I'll get on here and do UFC for an hour and a half or something. But not no damn WWE 2 nights in a row. Fuck that. So yeah, y'all, we'll catch y'all soon, man. I'm gonna go ahead and get off here, eat some dinner, get ready for work. I'll catch y'all tomorrow NXT. Even if it's not that good, I get on here and at least let JoJo talk about what he like, talk some shit. What I might start doing on our Tuesday shows, if it's not a lot to cover on NXT. We might start firing up some old moments. Me and JoJo gonna get on here and laugh. Watch Kurt Angle dress like Elmer Fudd. Who the hell was Kurt Angle hunting that time with that Elmer Fudd shit on, JoJo? I just remember him being dressed as Elmer Fudd, and that shit was hilarious. Who was Angle hunting? Do you remember who he was going after that time?
Oh my God, no. Oh, I can't remember.
Elmer Fudd shit on. I think it was either when he was with Vince in Austin or when he was with Edge and Christian. I know he had the Elmer Fudd. Oh, Big Show. I think he was hunting Big Show. He was trying to say Big Show is a big beast or something like that. You need to shoot him with the tranquilizer. I think it was Big Show because that was like around 04 or 05. I'm almost sure he was feuding with Big Show. That's when he had Luther Reigns and all of them with him. This man was dressed like fucking Elmer Fudd. That's the type of shit I want to see.
Oh my God.
That and Goldust going around with the stuttering when he dropped Diamond Test that time. The magazine's in a duffel bag when he dropped Diamond Test. Cockles. Yeah, that's the type of shit that I like.
Shit.
Along with a lot of other stuff I haven't seen in a while. Austin getting embalmed by Undertaker. It was some wild shit going on. Now, you know what we need to watch on his son and just laugh at him? Matter of fact, please remind me to do this tomorrow. We're going to pull this shit up. I'll be willing to get a strike for this. Well, we'll probably play the most funny parts. We're going to watch the whole segment. Remind me tomorrow after we finish covering NXT to put on Mark Henry's sex therapy session. Remember when he was in sex therapy? We have to watch that shit, dude.
Oh, we can watch that. Yeah,
we gotta watch it. So I gotta find that episodes is on. So I'll do it. Please remind me tomorrow. Text me to put that in the format. Right. But yeah, we gotta watch that. Maybe he was like, when the last time you had sex? He was like, day before yesterday. Then he was like, with who? With my sister. With your sister?
Yeah.
That shit was wild. Victor, do you remember when they had the sex therapy sessions with Mark Henry? That was some wild shit, man. We need to watch Cena rapping the Big Show. Yeah, so remind me, Omar.
That too.
Yeah, we're going to watch that tomorrow. He said, bitch, what you talking about? I'm 500 pounds with that son.
Oh, shit. They tried to bandana on this shit.
Yeah. He had the fucking Black Sox jersey on. That was a good time. Angle had the Brunel jersey on. It was good times. Then one day we got to sit down and watch clips of when the Outsiders was just pissed off at WWE because they ain't like the way the NWO run, the second run went. And then Scott Hall was sitting down with the G on his shirt on. Son, we got the G on his shirt on, son. That was some funny shit. But yeah, y'all, we go. I'm gonna make some notes over the next couple weeks. We'll cover pretty much everything. I'm gonna need y'all to remind me, please, because I forget shit too. But yeah, so tomorrow, Mark Henry thing, and we'll watch the Big Show. Please don't let me forget, y'all. So tomorrow, probably around the same time, between 7:30 8 p.m. Central Time, we'll get on here and do that. But in the meantime, y'all be cool, man, and we'll talk to y'all soon, man. Thank y'all for watching. Bless y'all families. All right, son. I'll talk to you tomorrow, man. Word up.
All right, man. Good night, folks.
Good night.
Peace.